Picking at the back of fantasy football drafts in 2025 could be an absolute cheat code. If you've got the 111 or you just want to think about what your opponent might be doing at the 111, then this is the video for you. This series is giving you a breakdown of what to expect no matter which first round pick you draw, and in what feels like a very strong first round for 2025. Nailing your first round picks has never been so important. So let's dive into the 111, who's available, who to target, who to avoid, and how to build your roster from this position. When you're on the clock at 111, here are 4 players who are most likely to be available: Malik Nabers, Derrick Henry, Nico Collins, and Ashton Jeanty. So there's strong options at both wide receiver and running back, and plenty of choice there. Let's start with the players that I love at this spot. Malik Nabers. Nabers was a fantasy breakout in 2024, breaking Puka Nacua's rookie reception record with 109, only for Brock Bowers to edge him out with 112. Despite the quarterback chaos that Nabers went through with 4 different quarterbacks last year, he finished as the wide receiver 6 overall. He enters 2025 with Russell Wilson or rookie Jackson Dart at quarterback, which is a massive upgrade on last year's disastrous carousel of quarterbacks. With minimal target competition next to him, Nabers projects as a top 6 wide receiver once again, and an easy pick here. Nico Collins. Since 2023, Collins leads all receivers in yards per route run against man coverage. He opened last season as the wide receiver 2 overall, averaging 21.6 points per game before a hamstring injury. With Tank Dell likely out for the whole season, the rookie competition looks like it'll start off quite lukewarm, and only Christian Kirk is a veteran behind him. Collins is the unquestioned alpha in this offense. Health is the only concern for Collins, but man, with the running back room completely beaten up, I want to bet on Nico Collins in a big way in 2025. Derrick Henry. Henry has seen his ADP climb as drafts heat up. At age 31, coming off 1,953 all-purpose yards and 16 touchdowns. He remains an absolute monster, especially near the goal line. He handled 90% of Baltimore's inside 5 carries last year. The only argument against him is the lowest target share of any round 1 running back at just 4.4%. But if you want to run him back early, Henry is a strong hero RB anchor with massive upside. Ashton Jeanty. Rookie running back Ashton Jeanty could be absolutely special. The Raiders spent the 6th overall pick on him, and he has shades of Saquon Barkley coming out of college. Elite vision, pass catching ability, explosiveness. He averaged over 6 yards per carry in college. Geno Smith has a history of feeding running backs in the passing game. He targeted running backs at the 8th highest rate last year. Jeanty could push for 300 touches right away. High ceiling, high risk, but worth considering. Now, who should you be avoiding at the turn? Josh Jacobs. Jacobs is being pushed up into late round 1 in running back hungry drafts, but he's more of a round 2 value. He's volume dependent, the Packers want to pass more, and even though there's only Marshawn Lloyd behind Josh Jacobs, Jacobs just doesn't feel like a league winner, and if you're going to take a player in 111, you need to have a path to them being a league winner. Puka Nacua. Nacua is fantastic, but at the 111, he's really risky. Matthew Stafford's health is a real concern. Rams fans were literally joking if he was alive this offseason. Without him, it's Jimmy Garoppolo time, and that's a massive downgrade. Nacua's production, it is solid, but the touchdowns remain lacking. He's only had 9 touchdowns on 266 targets in the last 2 years. I'd rather try and push him around the corner and see if we can get him with our 2nd round pick. Brian Thomas Jr. Thomas had a huge rookie year with 10 touchdowns, but those scores carried his fantasy production. A lot of it came with Mac Jones rather than Trevor Lawrence. Touchdowns are volatile. New coach in Liam Cohen could mean that Travis Hunter is catapulted into a bigger role and offers more target competition than Brian Thomas was dealing with last year. Thomas belongs in the top 15, but not ahead of players like Nabers or Nico Collins. Again, let's try pushing him into our round 2 pick. Roster construction at the 111. How should you build your roster? If you start with Nico Collins or Nabers, you can grab a strong running back like Bucky Irving or Devin Achan in round 2, or even Josh Jacobs if you feel obliged to. If you start Derrick Henry or Jeanty, you can still find wide receivers like Drake London or AJ Brown in round 2. Hero RB works really well here. You can anchor your roster with 1 running back and stack wide receivers. I also don't mind the hero wide receiver approach. You can go and check out this video on the channel where I looked at a mock draft taking that approach, seeing how it turned out. Dual running back builds give you a high floor, but it gets really difficult at wide receiver to build out a strong wide receiver room. We're going to use the Fantasy Pros Draft Wizard to mock draft. It's insanely customizable. You can sync your leagues to it and automatically copy your settings, and it'll adjust the rankings for that. You can choose which expert rankings and insights you see, including mine, which are part of the expert consensus rankings of over 100 people from across the industry. No waiting around for other people, nobody taking 6 kickers. Instead, we can mock against the wizard and get feedback from top experts on our drafts instantly. Check out the link in the description below and you can get mock drafting right now. So we're using the 2025 season half PPR snake format with the 11th pick overall. I've gone with 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 kicker, 1 defense, and 6 bench spots. So pretty regular sort of stuff that you'll see in a lot of home league settings. If your league is particularly running back heavy, you might want to adjust the settings here to go slightly high, or the same for tight end if people love tight ends. Same for defense or rookies. That can really help you get a perspective of what the draft will look like. So the draft plays out: Saquon Barkley, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Bijan Robinson, Justin Jefferson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Malik Neighbors, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, and Mon-Ra St. Brown, leaving us a choice of Nico Collins, Puka Nacua, or Ashton Genty. I'm going to start this one with Ashton Genty because it's been quite a heavy running back start so far. And then in round 2, we get Nico Collins falling to us, which is a massive value. You see Jackson Smith and Jigba pulled up there, and Devontae Adams. I think whoever's mock drafting from that one is not feeling their best, because those are very curious picks, to say the least. In round 3, I'm still prioritizing wide receiver at this point in the draft. We've got a hero running back, so we should build like that. And I'm going to take Mike Evans. We haven't seen his ADP move at all, despite the fact that Chris Godwin's not going to be playing for weeks. I do think that we could see Mike Evans slow down a touch more this year, but I think that he's going to be enough of a focal point of that offense that I'm comfortable taking him. In round 4, I'll take Kenneth Walker. Yes, the foot injury stuff has been a little bit worrisome, but I'm okay with it. Typically in home leagues, if I'm taking a hero running back approach, I don't push that second running back as far as I would in best ball, because home leagues, the running backs, they just disappear so quickly. In round 5, I'm going to take Sam Laporta. He averaged over 13 fantasy points per game from week 10 onwards last year, really seemed to turn a corner and looked a lot better down the stretch. And then in round 6, we're going to take Xavier Worthy and bank on him starting really strong with Rashee Rice suspended for the first 6 weeks of the season. In round 7, we can take another running back here and just start fleshing out some depth there. J.K. Dobbins makes sense. Again, that's another player who can start fairly strong, and if Ashton Genty isn't getting it done, or if we need a situation where J.K. Dobbins can play in the flex, I like him plenty to start the season. In round 8, we've got a whole host of really interesting wide receivers. I would have taken Emeka Egbuka if I didn't have Mike Evans already. So let's bet on some talent of Rome Odunze coming out in the second year for him. We see second year players take a leap plenty of the time, and now we've got 2 of them in Xavier Worthy and Rome Odunze. We've already got our tight end, so we don't need another tight end at this point, but we are approaching the area of the draft where there's loads of tight ends and loads of quarterbacks, and because of that, I keep being willing to just push quarterback further and further. We've got 4 wide receivers, and we've also got 3 running backs, so it's possibly time to look at running back, but there's a glut of running backs around here who all feel fine, and at least a couple of them are going to make it back to us around this corner. So instead, at wide receiver, I'm going to take Josh Downs. I really think that Josh Downs can turn into a superstar this year. His yards per route run was incredible last year. Real top tier talent. He just needs more volume. In round 10, let's go back to the running back position. And here, I'm going to go with Jerome Ford. Quinshon Judkins hasn't signed his rookie contract. Dylan Sampson's an okay player, but the team know Jerome Ford, and I think that Jerome Ford is going to get plenty of touches to start the year. Maybe we have to be aggressive looking at waivers, but that's okay. The best time to spend up big on waivers is at the beginning of the season. And look, here on the Fantasy Sanctuary, we'll have weekly waiver videos out for you every single Monday to get you ready for the best picks for that week. So round 11, we've not got that many picks left, and maybe it's time to look at quarterback, but between Drake May and Justin Fields, Brock Purdy, Caleb Williams, and Justin Herbert, there's enough talent there that I'm still willing to push that even further. Instead, we'll keep going at the running back position, and we'll take a swing with our first rookie running back in this draft, and that is Baishal Tutin, who, if anybody gets traded between Tank Bigsby or Travis Etienne, I think it's really going to open up things for Tutin. In round 12, we'll take Tyler Algier. I think Tyler Algier is the best backup running back in the NFL. 10th in explosive run rate last year, 7th in juke rate, and we've seen it from him. This is a guy who's given us standalone value as well. If we need a flex play one week, I have every faith in Tyler Algier. So in round 13, it's time to take a quarterback, because after this, we're only going to be taking a defense and a kicker. It comes down to Justin Fields, Drake May, or Brock Purdy. I'm going to lean into Justin Fields, and it doesn't feel amazing. Perhaps this is one where you might want to take a second quarterback, but look at this talent that's still there. There'll be guys on waivers we can pick up after the draft or nearer the time if things don't feel great. When Justin Fields has been out there, he's been fantastic for fantasy. He's averaged over 50 yards per game on the ground. There's one of only 3 quarterbacks to do that. The other 2 are Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson. Even in 2022, when he was with the Bears and completing just 12 passes per game, he was still the QB5 that year, because the dual threat ability is just so damn high. I'm never going to take a defense earlier than I have to, so getting to this point of a draft and then being able to take the Ravens defense, who've just paid Kyle Hamilton, we've also got Malachi Starks back there. I think they're going to be a really impressive unit this year and get a lot of turnovers. And then we'll take Harrison Butker, a nice veteran kicker with job security. The mock draft wizard gives us a B+, 89 out of 100, projects us to be the third highest scoring team, which should be plenty to get us into the playoffs. And then I'm just betting on my team being the best when we get to the playoffs and us being able to pick up some really good players off waivers and making some trades. You can see in the sleeper alert that we got J.K. Dobbins, the number 1 running back in consensus sleeper rankings, as well as Baishal Tutum, the number 3 running back in consensus sleeper rankings. We also drafted Justin Fields 5 rounds later than he's ranked. The mock draft wizard reckons that we drafted Jerome Ford earlier than he's ranked, but I'm okay with that because we needed him for the construction that we've got. So this draft finished from the 11th spot. Ashton Genty, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Kenneth Walker, Sam Laporta, Xavier Worthy, J.K. Dobbins, Roma Dunze, Josh Downs, Jerome Ford, Baishal Tutum, Tyler Algier, Justin Fields, the Baltimore Ravens defense, and Harrison Butker. How do you feel about that draft? Do you feel like this was the right way to do it? Do you think that we could have taken a controversial strategy and maybe just gone heavy running back? Let me know in the comments. We answer every single question that you put in the comments here on the Fantasy Sanctuary. Go and check out this video on hero wide receiver, a strategy that not enough people are using.